Welcome back to Spelling and Word Study. My name is Mrs. Rhoades, and I'm here to get you started on Unit 30, the OI pattern. Please take a second to gather your materials. You will need your red book open to page 185. You'll also need some colorful pens, markers, or crayons. Remember, whatever I mark on my board, you should be marking on your page. Please save room for a key as well. All right, so last week we started talking about diphthongs. Diphthongs are vowel sounds that are neither long nor short. They're actually two vowel sounds combined. So last week we learned about ow, which kind of starts out as a short O, ah, and moves into a long U, ooh, ow. Right? And we learned that there are two common ways to make that ow sound. We can use OU or OW. Well, today we're moving on to a new diphthong, which is pronounced oi. Go ahead and say that, oi. And as you do, notice it starts with a long O and then moves to a long E, oi. Do you hear that? Great. Well, there are two very common ways to make that oi sound. We can use OI or OY. So we're going to start by reading our list. As we do, use your eyes to look for that OI or OY pattern and use your ears to listen for that oi sound. Please repeat after me. Boil, boy, coil, coin, foil, join, joy, oil, soil, toy. Did you hear that oi sound over and over? Great. So let's choose a color. I'm going to go with green, and we're going to start by putting a box around the OI in each of our words. So here it shows up in the middle of boil. It shows up again in the middle of coil and in the middle of coin and in the middle of foil. I want you to notice that OI is always showing up at the middle of the word, never at the end. We see it again in the middle of join. And now we see it at the beginning of oil. And then we see it at the middle of soil. So if we're trying to spell a word and we hear that oi sound, if that oi sound is showing up at the beginning or the middle of a word, OI is a great pattern to use. So green box equals OI, and that's going to be at the beginning or middle of a word or syllable, never at the end. Now, if we want a word to end with the oi sound, we have another option. Let's choose another color, and this time we're going to draw a box around the OY in boy, the OY in joy, and the OY in toy, okay? If we are looking to make that oi sound at the end of a word or the end of a syllable, we're going to use OY, okay? So blue box equals OY, and that's going to show up at the end of a word or syllable. There is an example. The word is oyster. An oyster is a type of sea creature that does use OY at the beginning of a word, but notice it's also at the end of the syllable, oyster. Okay, so now let's make sure we know what all of our words mean. And to do that, we're going to label them by part of speech. So the first kind of word we're looking for is a verb. Remember, verbs are action words. If it's something you can do or an animal can do or the weather can do, it is a verb. So let's put a V for verb next to boil. When you boil food, you cook it in hot water. Now, some of you might be ready to learn how to cook. And the first types of foods you're probably going to make will be things like spaghetti or hot dogs, mac and cheese, or an egg. You might choose to boil those things. You're going to boil some water in a pot, and then you will add your macaroni, you'll add your spaghetti, you'll add your egg, and you will boil the food. Okay, coil is another verb. If you coil something, you wrap it around. So if you think about a snake has a long, thin body, but sometimes they coil their body. They wrap it in a circle. If you're on a boat and you're trying to dock it, you're going to take that rope and you're going to coil it around the post on the dock. Some people take their hair and they coil it. They wrap it around their finger. So that is a verb. Join is another verb, right? When you join a club or you join a class or you join a team, you become part of that group. Okay, I think that's it for verbs. So over here, purple V stands for verb, and we're going to remember that those are our action words. All right, let's look for nouns now. A person, a place, a thing. If you can touch it, if you can draw a picture of it, it is a noun. So we know what a boy is, right? We have boys and we have girls. Those are nouns. A coin is a noun. A coin is a type of money. If you go to the store and buy a pack of gum, you might pay for it with dollar bills, or you might pay for it with a handful of coins, quarters, nickels, pennies, and dimes. So a coin, here in America anyway, is a round metal piece of money. Okay? The most common ones we use here in America, quarters, dimes, nickels, and pennies. Other countries have different types of coins. Foil is another noun. If you open up your kitchen drawers, you might find a drawer that has sandwich bags, it might have saran wrap, and it might have tin foil. Foil is actually a long metal sheet, and it's used to wrap food. So if you're bringing brownies to grandma's house, you might put them in a container and then cover it with foil. One thing to remember, because foil is made out of metal, never put it in the microwave. If you do, you're going to see sparks and you could start a fire. Okay? So foil is a long metal sheet. It's rolled up and it's used for wrapping food. Joy is another noun. Now, most of the time we talk about concrete nouns. Those are the things we can touch and draw. Joy is not something you can draw or touch, but it's still a real thing, okay? Joy is a happy feeling. Whenever my sons come home from college, I am filled with joy. I am very, very happy to see them. Oil is also a noun. There are several kinds of oil. There is the oil that is deep, deep in the earth, and we drill for it, and we bring that oil up, and we take it to a refinery, and it gets turned into gasoline for our cars. So that's one type of oil. There's another type of oil that we use to cook. We can cook with olive oil or vegetable oil or canola oil. Okay, and then another kind of oil is what your body produces. So sometimes if you touch a window or a mirror and it leaves a smudge, that's the oil from your skin. Sometimes you can feel the oil on your skin. Okay, so in all three cases, it's just a liquid. It's a liquid substance. Soil is another noun. That is another word for dirt. So if you want to grow vegetables, you're going to have to plant the seeds in soil. And then of course our last word is toy. You all know what that is, something you play with. So over here, red N equals noun. Okay. Let's go back to our verbs for a second because I want you to look at the word boil. We've spent a lot of time this year talking about adding suffixes. We take a verb and we change its tense. So now I boil some water. Yesterday I boiled water. See how I add ed? Right now I am boiling water. If I want to change my verb tense, I add a suffix, ed or ing. Now earlier this year we learned about some special rules. Sometimes we have to double the consonant. Sometimes we have to drop the e before we add our suffix. We don't have to worry about that this week because we have 2 vowels followed by 1 consonant. When a word ends with 2 vowels and then 1 consonant, it's easy. We just add our suffix. Same thing here. Join becomes joined. Last year I joined the Girl Scouts. I am joining a softball team this spring. My mom joins book clubs all the time. Because my base word join already has 2 vowels and a consonant, all I have to do is add my suffix. No dropping silent e's, no doubling consonants, nothing like that. All right, I think that's all I have for you today. So good luck, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.